Hey guys, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you following along for our devotional series. Last week, I was at church camp and we studied what it means to be influenced by Jesus. And one of the ways that we are influenced by Jesus is the sacrifice that he gave for us, the willingness that he had to leave the throne room of God, the throne room of heaven, and come down to earth and to give his life as a sacrifice for us. And we as Christians are called to the same kind of life. We are called to the same kind of sacrifice. In Romans chapter 12 and verse 1, Paul says, I appeal to you, therefore, brothers, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. So we're supposed to give up our lives as a living sacrifice to God.
Now, what does that look like in our own lives? Because that's the question that we have. When we read the text, we see what it says. But what does that mean for me in my own life? When we think about what sacrifice is, the first thing I think about is the opposite of what sacrifice is, and that's comfort. And that's often what we struggle with, because who doesn't want to be comfortable? Everybody wants to be comfortable, and no one really wants to sacrifice. However, if we're going to be part of the Christian faith, that's exactly what we're called to do, is to sacrifice. And so that may mean that in sacrificing our lives, we have to sacrifice certain things and comforts that we had before. Maybe that means that we have to sing out, even if we're not comfortable singing out. Maybe that means that we need to get involved in different ministries within our congregation, even if we haven't been comfortable with those things in the past. Maybe it's trying to go out of our comfort zone to find the talents that God has already given us in order to do the work of his kingdom. And it's certainly not resting on our laurels or thinking that we've got it all figured out already and all I got to do is just sit back and relax. We're supposed to be living sacrifices from the day that we come to Christ to the day that we see him face to face. So let us, as we go on throughout our lives, present ourselves as living sacrifices, holy and acceptable and pleasing to God. And let that be our spiritual act of worship in our lives. So let us avoid comfort, embrace sacrifice, and in doing so, embrace Jesus. I want to thank you all for being with us this week, and we hope to see you again next week.